it was in this building that, I had the experience that I pushed myself, more than I should have, and ended up injuring my lip. And recently they tore it down to make room for a new arts building, because we at my school had just built a brand new music building, which is gorgeous. I'm going to put some images up in the video. So if anybody's listening in the audio and wants to see these images, get over to YouTube. And they started tearing down this building about 3 or 4 months after I had gotten injured. And this building, if I could put it one way, became a representation of my old self. My old self being someone who did not trust the process of growth, did not trust the work that I was putting in was ultimately helping me get better. My old self felt that I needed to catch up with others in order to be able to have a career in music. And that mindset is what drove me to my injury, to push myself past what I was physically capable of doing, and ended up injuring myself because I did not trust that the work that I was putting in was helping me at the rate that I needed it to be doing. And then as they were tearing it down, I would go on a walk. This is like April, May, June of 2023, when they're tearing down and clearing all the wreckage. I would walk past that site and just think how, because of my injury and the experiences I've had since then, that old self, that old me was being cleared away, right? And we had this new music building that was beautiful, had way better facilities. It had, a recording studio with capabilities that we hadn't had in the old building, and a beautiful new concert hall, recital. It's a gorgeous building. If you ever get out to BYU, you should check it out. That new building kind of represented my new self, in a lot of ways. Or at least and I'm getting kind of philosophical here, but it's kind of how I think. It represented who I wanted to become, right? And as they've been building up this new arts building in place of the Harris Fine Arts Center, it's a long process, but it's ultimately creating something that's going to be really beautiful. The renderings for the new arts building actually make me kind of jealous. Even though that we have a new music building, the new arts building looks even cooler. It's been interesting watching the construction companies build up that new arts building, because it's taught me a lot about growth and the growth process. You start with the foundation, you start building up. They actually built part of it. I don't know construction terms, so if I'm butchering this, someone tell me, but it almost looked like they were building it on on parts of the foundation of the old building, and then using that to obviously build this new arts building. And I had an experience the other day when I was walking to class, where I had been walking. I usually go on walks around the construction site, but I hadn't done it in a while, and the building had shot up, like the foundation, like I said, I don't know construction terms, but the skeleton of the building was pretty much all there. And it maybe been a month since I had walked past that area, or at least noticed the progression of the construction site. And it just made me really start to think about, been minding my own business. I'd been doing the work day to day in my own life, and this building was being built up every single day, little by little, as the days progress and the weeks progress. And then weeks later, I look back and I see how much this building has grown. And I think that the reason why it impacted me so much is because it made me realize that our own musical growth, our own growth as human beings is exactly the same way. If we were to look at the building every single day, like if you were to just stare at the building for an hour, that construction site, you would not see really any growth or any progress, or you'd see very, very little. But if you are just putting your head down and just doing the work every day, you look back and you say, holy cow, look how much I've grown. Holy cow, look how much that building has grown. And that's just how I've learned to look at my progress as a musician, is to not be focusing, not micromanaging it every single day, but just curiously going through each day, finding new ways to grow musically, and then trust that that work that I'm putting in is setting me up for success later in the future.
Let's say you took that seed, you planted it, and you found yourself outside nurturing it every day in some way. And then when it finally grows into what it was meant to be, pick your favorite plant. For our purposes, I'll say it's a fruit tree. You will see all the fruit that comes from that little seed. The cool thing about fruit trees is that every season, as long as the tree is nourished and healthy, every season it gives more and more fruit. You will see that this experience that was so hard, yet because you had done the work, the inner work, you have all these opportunities because of your injury. Now, how many people have been on the show in our 3 seasons and said that their injury, while difficult, was the best thing that could have happened for their playing and for their career, and even as their identity as a musician? How many people have said that they were able to enjoy their practice, or they're performing even more now because of and thanks to their injury? Whether that was due to physical adjustments that they made, or pedagogical adjustments to their playing, or adjustments to their mindset and perspective surrounding their musical career, or both. They created something beautiful from their injury. And this is all because they decided to take a chance on that seed and plant it to see what they could get from it. You have that power, guys. I know an injury is hard, but it has the potential to become something wonderful for you. A catalyst for incredible growth and change for you. But there's a caveat to this. What happens to a little plant that we begin to neglect? Well, its roots begin to die, shall we say, because it's not getting the proper nourishment. The water's not getting to it. The soil is not the way it needs to be. I'm not a soil expert, guys. And with our injury, bringing it back to that part of the analogy, if we don't constantly put in the work and are consistent with it to change our habits, be them physical, lifestyle, or playing habits, but most importantly, the mental habits and thought patterns that we get into, that can lead us to injury. If we don't put in the constant work to be in a good state, then the work we have put in to make the most of our injury could go out the window. Not always, but it very well could. And when that happens, is that because our injury itself was just a sucky experience? It's too hard and we can't move past it? And that's just the long and short of it? That's it? Game over? End of story? Nope. It's just because we didn't do the work. We didn't nourish the soil. We didn't put ourselves in the right environments, in the right mindsets. And that takes work. A lot of work. And to be clear, this doesn't mean that you didn't physically recover from your injury. Sometimes physical recovery is just not possible. The difference is, did you put in the work to make this as meaningful an experience as possible? Those are the roots. That is what you need to nourish the most. Because if you have done that work, then no matter what the outcome of your physical recovery is, you'll be able to look back on this experience with some degree of gratitude. Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode of Trust the Process, the official podcast of Musician Unchained, the newest coaching program dedicated to helping musicians navigate and overcome injury. But before you go, I have a few quick ways you can stay connected and support our growing community. First of all, I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me a text with the link below and share your thoughts, questions, or just say hi. You can also check the show out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We also would love to see you in our Facebook support group, Trust the Process Podcast Injured Musician Support Group. If you found value in today's episode, consider making a donation to support our mission of empowering musicians worldwide. Every contribution helps us create more content and resources for you, so visit link number 2 below to support the mission. If you decide to donate, I'll send you my newest resource, the Injured Musician Toolkit, which is an ebook designed to give you tools to help you get through your injury. Subscribe to our newsletter to get exclusive insights, tips, sneak previews of episodes, and announcements straight to your inbox. Act now and I will send you a free gift. So sign up at www.musicianunchained.com/newsletter. And if you or someone you know would like to go deeper with me in the topics of injury and mindset, head over back to musicianunchained.com and check out the Let's Hang tab. As always, I want to thank Daniel Baldwin, my audio engineer, and my sister Dana Lovell for her help with the promotional materials. There is no podcast without them. Before I go, I want to tell you how much I deeply appreciate your time and support. You are not alone on this journey. There are musicians and educators out there who need this resource, and we need to give it to them. Together, we are breaking the chain of old habits and thought patterns that don't serve us anymore, and unchaining the potential within ourselves to face each challenge with strength and resilience. So, as I always say, keep on keeping on and keep trusting the process. Until next time.